welcome to Casting Memories Part 4. Today I'm zander fishing on the Grand Union Canal through Warwick. It's actually the Hatton Lock stretch, and I'm after a few zander. So basically I've come down and I'm going to be dead baiting today. So similar principles to my pike setup. If you've watched the last video, you'll know what I'm talking about. I've got braided mainline this time instead of the mono. This is about £12 braid with a small cigar float. This rests on a SSG weight and it runs down to an Albright knot, which is there, which is linked to £9 fluorocarbon. Now, a lot of people say you should use wire traces for zander, and I understand that, obviously the teeth aspect, but I've used fluorocarbon for zander fishing for 5 or 6 years now, and I've done really well on fluorocarbon. I've never had a bite off, never. So personally, I think it's a load of taters really, but I can see why some people say you should use wire traces. If there was pike on the canal I was catching regular, then I would use a wire trace, but I've never caught a pike from this stretch of the canal. I know they're in here, but I've never caught one myself, so there's not that many, I don't think, so that's why I use fluorocarbon. Anyway, my fluorocarbon runs down to a size 1 hook, and that is attached by a quick change swivel, and I'll show you why shortly. So here's my bait I'm going to be using. Here I've got some small skimmer bream. I've got a larger bream and a roach. The roach and the bream was left over from when I was pike fishing the last time, so I thought I'd take them out of the freezer and just bang them in the bait box basically. But these are what I'm going to be predominantly fishing with today. So small skimmer bream, and what I'll do, I'll actually cut them in half as well. When zander fishing I love using a tail, so don't ask me why, but I've always done better on the tail as well. So let's show you how to rig it. Also with my bait, I always like to use some predator liquid, basically to add a bit more smell and a bit more attractant. So I'll give a little squib in there, and I'll shut the bait tub, give it a quick little shake around. You end up with something like that. Dead simple, just a bit more smell and flavour into the water, and I think in this murky water, I think it definitely helps, especially with zander. They're any sort of smell, they're on it quite quickly, so hopefully that'll do the trick. Right, now I'll explain why I've got a quick change swivel on. The reason for this is so I can unclip my hook, and as it's a long shank hook, I can take the bait and push the hook through the middle and then out of the bait, sort of around there, so you end up with it sort of hanging, if you can see that. Rather than threading it through, I find this much more easier to do. There you go. Obviously having a swivel on the end also allows the tail of the skimmer to rotate, which I find probably looks a bit more natural than it would just in one position. So let's cast this out and see if we can pick up a zander. When looking for places to fish on canals when dead baiting for zander, I tend to stick around the features of the canal. So you've got sort of lock gates, you know, the walls around lock gates, piers off the end here, like I'm fishing off here. You know, you've got a bush sunken in over that side of the canal. They're all great places to try. So if I don't pick up one here in sort of 10-15 minutes, I'll swap and I'll go down by the lock gates and you know, vice versa. I'll mix it up. I won't stay in one position all day, so let's see how I get on. Looks as if we've got our first run of the day, hopefully. Yeah. Push on. Get it. There's his head. There's his zander. So what an absolutely cracking fish. It's very lean. Looks like he could do with a good meal, this one, but it's a beautiful fish. Just look at the markings on it. Absolutely stunning. Probably only a couple of pound, but what a predator. Let's get him back. Right, I've just had that fish, but I forgot to mention earlier on, with my hook, I actually crushed the barbs down on them. I mean, zander are quite a delicate fish, to be honest, and if you're not careful, they could end up belly up. So the best way to do it is unhook them really quickly, give them a bit of rest in the net, or hold them upright, and then they'll swim off perfectly fine. But I like to crush my barbs down on these big hooks, just so they come out easily. And if you deep hook a fish, there's not a lot of hassle. You can just take it out quite simply. So that's my tip. Well, unfortunately, that's the end of my session. I've managed one zander, a couple of pound, I'd say, something like that, in a couple of hours fishing, I guess. I arrived here at 3 o'clock. It's now 4:45. So I haven't done too bad, I suppose, being the weather's so cold as well. Still, hey ho, that's fishing. But hopefully I'll be out next week and I'll be able to do a full day, which I've wanted to do for a while. So I'll probably be heading to a commercial fishery to do that. So thanks for the subscribers and thanks for all the likes you guys have given me, and cheers.